Hello folks and welcome to Tekhenu Obelisk of the Sun. So today I will be doing a two-player run-through. We have purple here and orange there because my name's Richard, my wife's name is Jen. That's been done before, so I'm just going to say purple is player 1, orange is player 2. So I have most of the setup done already. We have the population tracks, our happiness tracks. You can see I have the dice set up. I have our cards in the card market. There is gold in the few gold spots it's supposed to. We have our few pillar tiles set. We have our score markers. We start at 10 because we have the possibility of losing points, but we don't go below 0. So 10, 0 is the lowest score you can get, but you start at 10. We have our player boards set up here. 10 buildings, 6 statues, 8 pillars. We also start with a scribe and a gold, and we can see player 2 also has scribe and gold. We have our player order markers, which have not yet been placed, so we're nearly set up so that we can get playing. We do have our starting cards, which are only used at the beginning of the game. In future rounds, as player turn changes, we don't use the starting cards. It will be done a different way that we will see, that we will get to. We're also going to have our Ankh cards that we will choose as well. These switch hands every mat phase. Well, at least has the potential. You can choose the same ones depending on. Anyways, so yeah, we have our starting cards there. Our cards to put into the market here, and our resources as well as our gold, which can count as a wild for any of the 4 resources, our faith tokens and our scribes. So these holders that I'm using are folded space holders. They do not come with the game. I bought those separate. Hashtag not sponsored. I bought them. I wanted something just to organize a whole lot of things, and so I bought them. Anyways, this obelisk is nice. It just will go here, and every couple of rounds, and a round is when we take a die and do the action. So every couple of rounds, we're going to turn the obelisk, clockwise of course, 1 space, and we'll add more dice. We'll spin it again, and then we'll add more dice and do a mat phase. Do the same thing, couple add dice, couple mat phase, and we'll have our first scoring here. So I have our arrow starting here. So that means our first scoring will be 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And our second scoring will be 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and that's the game. So there is 16 rounds altogether where we're going to take a die and place it on our scale here. We want to be balanced. That is what's going to determine our player order. And we can see we do get player guides with it. So take a die, do the god action, or produce the resources. Resources, of course, allow us to, help us to do the actual actions. These are what you can do where, and you can see these little symbols are around there, and what does what, but I also have it face up so that we can see which die goes where. I'm giving myself as much help as I possibly can. I don't need to memorize this. It's written right on it, so I'm just going to go with that. And when we take pillar tiles, sometimes you can get a bonus as long as the bonus matches the, what color raw is in. Hey all, Richard here from halfway through the game, and I just realized that I missed an important part of setup, and that is you're going to take the decree cards and deal out 2 to each player. So I hope you don't mind a bit of a cheat here. In this case, I did stack these cards so that we could have them not interfere with what gameplay has already happened. So player 1 is going to choose between give 2 victory points per pillar within the temple complex and 2 victory points per building around the temple complex, which seems pretty sweet, or give 1 victory point per building, which is no longer on your board. It would be sweet to be able to have both of these, but it looks like we can only have 1. So player 1, who is going to focus on pillars and buildings, is going to go ahead and say, that's what I'm going to take. So this is going to go to player 1's board. And this other card is just going to go back to the bottom of the decree deck. Player 2 is focusing on getting a bunch of cards, which has to deal with happiness and population. So either gain 4 victory points per triangle instead of 3 victory points, which is what's regular, your happiness marker is reached. So yeah, instead of getting 3 when you reach the first one, get 4 when you reach the first one and multiply by 3 after that. Or gain 1 victory point per step between your happiness and lowest as in the lowest positioned happiness marker, because you only have 1. So if these are actually both pretty good. Get an extra point or an extra points. Depends how much player 1 is going to want to go on it, right? It depends on how high I go. Depends. Oh man, I'm going to go with this one. So this is going to go to player 2's section, and of course that goes back at the bottom of the deck. So for the first half of the game, decree cards aren't even going to come up. So I'll see you when you get back to the second half of the game. To complete setup, we're going to need to have cards to have us start off with resources. So we are going to have player 1 be the first player to choose a starting card. So player 1 is thinking to himself, well, the intro spiel of the game says that the temple and the buildings around it, that's what the story emphasizes. So player 1's thinking, well, if that's what they emphasize, then I'm going to see how much of in here I can build. And hopefully that's a smart choice. We'll see. So what that means is if we're building pillars, we're going to need granite and limestone, as per whatever all this, at the top is. We're going to need 2 limestone and 1 granite in this example. The problem is during setup, all the dice that were rolled for this are forbidden. This is a brown 2, and right now in the sunny side of the obelisk, browns and blacks are forbidden, as opposed to, say, the dark side, where a black is pure, and what's the brown? The brown is tainted. So you can choose one of those. You can't build a pillar right now. You have to wait for a couple rounds for it to turn so that it becomes the shaded side. Then at least we can finally grab something. So that means we, at the beginning, player 1, are going to be focusing on building around, it looks like. So we're going to need granite, but we're also going to need bread for the immediate future. So if we're going to need granite in the future, what looks like a good idea is, and limestone, granite and limestone. So we have a couple spots where we can get 2 limestone, 2 granite. So we got a couple granites there, a couple granites there. So if we look, we can see we need to either build a statue, which could be a very good idea because we're going to need, or because we can get a gold as well as whatever's built there, or we're going to need 4 breads if we want to get that, or we're going to need 3 breads for that, 3 breads for that if we're going this way, if we're going this way, and 4 if we're going that way. So in terms of monetary cost, maybe getting the 3 breads is worth it. Also thinking ahead, if we do end up building a statue, we could take this pure 4 and a 4 action. I did not change the setting. What was printed out on board is what this is going to be for this game. We take a Hathor action for a 4. We build a statue to Hathor, but we're going to need granite to build a statue in the first place. So perhaps that's not the best idea. But we could get a gold. But we're going to need granite to do that in the first place. So I think building a statue right now perhaps isn't the best option. But if we did build a statue, anytime anyone, us or the other person, because it's a 2-player game, if us or the or our opponent in a 2-player game picks a die where we have built a statue, these are the statues if we had built a statue, we would get the bonus. So if it's here, we get this bonus. So this bonus would be a scribe anytime someone takes a die in a 2-player game. Otherwise, it's when someone else takes that turn. But we don't have to worry about someone else. We just have to worry about, is there a statue that person gets the bonus. We can only build 1 statue in each place because it's a 2-player game, 2 for a 3-player game, 3 for a 4-player game. and I didn't bring up a minute ago, how much granite is needed is underneath each statue. So to build our first statue, we're going to need 4 granite in the first place. So I think right now we don't necessarily focus on getting granite, although we could. Right now I'm just thinking, just build some buildings, okay? Just build some buildings. Maybe we build buildings there. That's going to need a lot of limestone if we want a pillar in here, because a pillar can give us 3 points. Yeah, when we build a building, if we already have a pillar and we build a building, we can get 3 points per building that is ours. So it kind of feeds on each other. You want buildings and you want pillars, you want buildings, you want pillars. So what is the actual choice we make? I think we take this one. And do we take lots and lots of bread, or do we take enough bread to get 1 building out? Say if we went, so we're going to need a granite, and the minimum building to build there is a granite and limestone. And if we took this sunny one right there, that's we would get, see, if we got, let's say, 2 limestone there, and we take 3 breads and a granite, then we get 2 limestone when we build it. Also, we can get this action as well, which gives us a card, which is nice. So I think that's definitely our first move. So I think our first move is to build a building, get the granite, then build a temple. So we need enough bread. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to take this one, set it just in our spot for now. Player 2. What's player 2 thinking? Well, he knows that about the temple, and maybe you get some points there, but there's other ways you can get points. For example, you can get yourself a bunch of cards that say get a bunch of points. So why not do that? And in order to do that, that means we take this card. Now, I'm not even going to put it over there because it's a snake draft. So the first player, then the second player, then the third player, the fourth player, then it goes backwards. Fourth player, third player, second player, who is us. So we have this. And if we increased our population, that allows us to increase our happiness. And our happiness, our population, it just is, but our happiness allows us to take more cards. So our population, you can see what cards. Our happiness is what cards can you take. So I think if we increased our population, whoa, there we go. We can have access to more cards eventually, as long as we continue focusing on moving up our population and moving up our happiness. And I just reread the rules. You get both. There is no slasher. You don't get one or the other. You get both of these. So player 2, very, very, very happy with this, and glad they're going to be able to get 2 cards as well. So back to player 1. Do you want more resources? Do you want to build? So if we are, because we can get a couple resources right now, boom. But in the future, if we do this, what this is, Osiris over here, we can build a 3. You can take a building, put it in this row of 3, and then take the resources here. And in this case, it's you have to do a papyrus or bread. So it would be one of these 2. And because we're so focused on building buildings right now, taking this papyrus is actually a pretty tempting idea. Because if we put it in here, or here even, then we can produce resources later. What that means is you take a die and you get the resources. We can see this card's kind of covering it, but we can see our production track right now is at 2. What that means, if you take this 4, you get 2, you would get 4 breads. You would receive 4 breads. 2 of them you can keep. But then the other 2 would unbalance your scales. So the other two would go there. They'd be unusable and it would count against you for the mat phase. So to increase production means if we took a 4, we would be able to keep 3 while producing and put the other one on taint. So being able to just have the option to produce more in the future if you just want resources, that isn't bad. Maybe that's the way to go. So do an Osiris action as though you had done a 3. So put a building, you are limited to the bread or limestone. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Because another nice thing here is don't lose happiness. Every time you build a building, sure, you gain some stuff, but your happiness suffers a little bit. So this track would go down a little bit, just not with this card. So take the one on the left side. We don't have to worry about what's printed onto here until scoring. So down here, when a scoring happens, that's when we'll worry about that. So this is going to go to 3. So it must be papyrus or bread. We are focused on bread. So let's put it here. Let's gain a bread. Ba-boom. Isn't that nice? And we increase our bread by 1 and papyrus by 1. And now, we have majority in that row. So increase bread by 1 and papyrus by 1 and gain a bread token. Okay, so that is there. That was nice. And now 5 of anything. 5 of anything. So like we established, so it looks like we're going to probably in the future need more limestone than granite, unless we want to build a statue. Is there something here that works better? We have, okay, so we have 3 breads. I guess not. So if we do take, well, we already have a bread. Okay, we already have a bread, so we for sure want to take 2. So let's just take 5 of any resource. Not gold, because gold is a wild, not an actual resource. Okay, so 5. So for sure, we are taking 2 breads so that we can for sure build a building, because we already have the 3rd bread to build a building in that row. 4, it would also be nice if, because we want to keep building buildings, to have a statue here. And we need 4 granite. So if I took, actually, if I took 2 granite, or if I took 3 granite, wow. If I took 3 granite to round this out, I could still put 1 way up there. Wait, I'm just confusing myself, aren't I? Okay, so we took 3 breads, build a building. We take, so if we're getting 2 granite. Also, if we build a statue right away, that means we get that gold. So we would have that extra 1 as well. Another thing that I just realized I'm forgetting is after you build a building, you gain 1 of every resource that is not covered. So if you have one of these pillars in one of these, then you would not get a resource. Instead, you would get 3 points for that. So you're either going to get 3 points for having a pillar, your pillar would be on that. You're either going to get 3 points for the pillar, or if it's empty, there is no pillar on it, you get 1 of each resource as well. So I think I'm definitely going to invest in putting in a row here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to add another one. So I have 4 breads, 2, 3, 4. So that's 3 breads taken from this 5. I'm going to need 2, so I might as well take the 2 granite. I have that gold. Oh, I have a gold. Okay, so that's why I'm... Okay, I have a gold, so I can use... Let's say I'm going to use that. And when I build a building, I'm going to have a 4th one, build a statue, In the future, I can do more Hathors. Gonna bread. Alternatively, I just realized I could build a statue first, put the statue in there because Hathor is a 4 and there is indeed a 4 here. So I could do that first, build a statue, then build a building, then get all the stuff. Wow, that's nice. And then get the bonus of the gold. Wow. Okay, I'm going to reverse what I'm doing. So I will be building a statue here. So I'm going to swap this one bread for one more granite so I get the statue built first. And then I'll have the 4 breads once the statue is built. I might have said that wrong. Put the statue here, which gets me the gold, which gets me the other, the other wild I need. So, okay, anyways, that's the point. Player 1 is done with their starting cards. Oh, I just realized I did not, we're done with this one altogether. I did not determine who is supposed to be getting an Ankh first. So, player 2 has the highest value, so they're going to go first on the track. Player 2 is going to go second. So all that happened, but also after choosing your 2 cards, you're also going to take an Ankh card. So that means first player, player 2 in this case, also gets a one of these cards. So let's maximize our population and happiness potential. As for player 1, who will be going second, you want just more resources? Because you can also get a scribe. You can also get, if you're focusing more on resources, maybe it's good to have at least one faith card so that you have a little bit of wiggle room to, well, to take dice you want. So I'm going to do that. So maybe it's better to have a gold, but let's give ourselves a bit of wiggle room. So player 1 is also going to get a faith token. Maybe I'll put faiths on this side. Maybe I'll put scribes on this side as well so I can keep track of both. And resources and faith and scribes. That makes sense to me. So I'll do that for player 2 as well, just to help my eyes. So player 1 has received everything they're going to receive. This is theirs until the next mat phase. So maybe that'll just go there, and that's fine. These cards were not taken. These cards we're done with. So those will just go there. These cards were not taken, but they may be used later on in the game. So I will just set those there on top, just being unused. So as for player 2, let's see what player 2 is going to actually take. Let's organize these a little bit better. We won't have to worry about throwing cards on top of them again in the future. Okay, so player 2. Let's get everything we're going to get. Now, take 2 technology cards and keep one. So we have when you take a pure die, gain a victory point. Well, isn't that nice and tempting? See? You can get points or get 2 points. Oh, when you perform an action using a die of value 1. Okay, so you are required to take 1s to gain 2 points. Maybe it works out for you this game, maybe it doesn't. Or gain 1 victory point just every time you take a pure die. I feel like the odds are better for this one. Let's go with the odds. This could be a nice gamble. And technology cards are nice because they are not one-time use. That's the rest of the game. Player 2 needs to keep an eye on always gaining an extra victory point if they're taking a pure die. That's a note for myself because, let's be honest, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that, and it will all be by accident. Okay, so starting card is done. Now, this starting card, you get 3 population, and 2 happiness. So of course, player 2, 1, 2, 3, and 2 happiness is 1, 2. So there's still 1 away, but let's gain that last happiness. Boom. Player 2 is now able to take from red as well. Well, player 1 still needs to get there. They're only limited to being to using these cards. See, player 2, no. See, I'm already on my way to getting a bunch of victory points. That's how I'm doing it this game. And player 1 says, no. Right here is where you're going to get the victory points, or I'm going to get the victory points. So this is player 2's card. And the starting cards, like I say, we're completely done with them. So I'm just going to put these in the same card slot here. These will be used. These we're completely done with. These are literally starting cards. We have started. So first on the order track is orange, player 2. And isn't it lovely? We can pick from here and look. Look at this. Right here. Perform an Anubis action right away. What's an Anubis action? And you don't pay anything. You just trade the card in and do an Anubis action. An Anubis action is take literally any die and perform literally any action. The only thing that matters is the number on the die. So I could take this die over here and do this action over here. The only thing that matters is if I took a 6 from over here, I would have to do a 6 from over here. And Anubis is the only time you are allowed to take a forbidden die. So yeah, player 2 can indeed do that. So I think this card is most excellent for them. Here's another one. Use limestone and granite interchangeably. If you do, once per turn, gain a victory point. And it's a nice technology card. Whew. Meaning if you use a limestone as a granite, or use a granite as a limestone, gain a victory point. So it might be worth getting a few limestones and granites for the sake of getting points, which in turn will get me more points if I'm building in there, right? This just straight up says gain points. I do like just gain points. Also, this one, that's not bad. When you raise a pillar, that's these here, if you build those into the temple, always activate the ability of the pillar tile. So these pillar tiles, you can see sunny, shaded. I don't think those are shaded. So like I said earlier, the sunny one can only be used in the sunny bonus can only be activated in this while raw is in the sunny section. But if you had this card, you can just activate whatever it is anyway. And that can give you some nice things later on as well. And I'm already looking because there's 1s and 2s here, so I can get a card for free. I don't need to be paying anything. But I won't be getting points for taking a pure die. Okay. Oh, and I also can't do a pastet action to increase the happiness of the people because I do not have 2 papyrus. That is 2 papyrus or 2 gold or whatever. So, what do I actually do? Oh my, oh my. If I focus when performing a Ra or Horus action, that is up here, these pillars, that's Ra. Up here, The building the statues, that's Horus. Do not pay its cost. Literally trade this card in and do it for free. Wow. Okay. So if I do this and then I build a pillar, then I can get, what was the, okay, activate. Use limestone and granite interchangeably. No, this is don't even use it in the first place. When you raise a pillar, activate the ability. And a Horus, oh, which one's Horus? Yeah, a Horus ability lets you do one of these. Oh man. Or Osiris lets you do one of these. You know what? Doing a Horus action for, doing a Ra action for free? That just gets me points right there. And I didn't even have to do anything. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Player 1 is going to take this tainted die and take a card for free without paying any cost, and going to take this one. So this was tainted, so it goes on the tainted side. And so I don't get a pure, I don't get a victory point for that. You can see, yeah, you can see that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's player 2, who is going first's turn. And this one is, we're taking a die, set it to literally any value. Imagine doing an Anubis action and then setting the die to literally any value, which is possible. Okay, so the market is reset, the dice are not. The dice don't get reset until the obelisk turns. So now, player 1 is going to simply execute function. We're staying steady with let's build a statue to Horus. So let's take the 4, which is on the pure side. 4. We need granite to build, and that says we need 4. So we're going to build to Horus. We don't get the bonus right now when we build it. In a 3-player game, whoever builds it would also get the bonus, and then when the opponent takes from that spot, they would get it. In a 2 and 4-player game, a person building doesn't get a bonus for building, having built. So that's all good, really, as long as that's accurate. Let's be honest, I am Mies, and this is a giant heavy game, so it's extremely easy for me to mess something up, and well, that's the life of doing this, right? Okay, so this was taken from the pure, so that actually goes there. So there we go. That is 1 round done. We each only have 1 die, so the obelisk stays where it is. When we have 2 or 4 dice, that's when this would turn. But as for right now, player 2, who is first player, will go. Player 2 is also thinking you could manipulate things. Just thinking you could manipulate things so that you can get limestone, and then you have limestone. And then eventually you take a card that says when producing well, I guess you would take one or the other. These are the same. Produce for limestone or produce for granite when producing whatever else. You can then manipulate that with this card interchangeably to gain points. So maybe, because player 2 is allowed to, maybe we do this one. And it's also tainted, but maybe we can make up for that in a bit. Okay, whatever. Let us do... Or do we build this right now? Maybe we build the raw action right now so that we have it. So we did... Oh no, we don't want to build it right now because we want the ability to activate. But you can see that this is about to rotate and become shaded, and this is shaded. So what that means is if we do that free ability, we're going to get to do the bonus ability because by that point it'll be in the shade. So we don't even need to take automatically do that. So we don't need this one. And it looks like we need more limestone than granite to do the raw action, more limestone than granite. So that means we want to get granite so that we can use this. And player 1 isn't even in there yet. So let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so let's take this. This is tainted. And it's only a 1, so we can just take a card for free. We don't have to pay resources to do that. So that will be our turn. So this is going to go on tainted. So we are at a -3 on the tainted side. We also have a scribe. Okay. Player 1, of course, is going to build a building in there with 3 breads. Okay, so player 1 is going to take a die from Hathor. That means because it's a 2-player game, they're going to get a gold. I'm just not clear if you get the gold as you do it or like their turn is done and now you get a gold. So I'm just going to err on the side of I'm going to do the action and just make sure I get the gold as part of the turn. So I'm going to do the action. I'm not going to announce the action. I'm going to do the action. So 1, 2, 3 gold, or sorry, 3 bread. And 3 bread. So I can get one of everything. Oh, actually take it, please. Okay, so that will be there. So 3. Oh, and that was a 4. So what that means is this is the one I take. And I'm going to build it. Okay. So if you build this along the green border, or this along the yellow border, you get a bonus point. But if you were to put green on green and yellow on yellow, your bonus, instead of getting resources, is to get an extra point. So you get +1, +1. So you get 2, 4 points for that. I just realized I messed up. I am doing a building. I'm doing a building. So yeah, that was me messing up. To be real honest, I'm not exactly sure what might be best for a 3 bread. Of course, 4 would be great there. So I'm just going to, put it somewhere. So that means I can take 1 of each resource. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is what I'll take. There are no pillars built, so I don't get any bonus points. And I will increase my population by, that was a 4 die. So I'll just do that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now happiness has the potential to get to 9. And now let's take those. Get a papyrus, a limestone, a granite, a bread, and a faith token. And a gold for having built on Hathor. That, to faith, that. Okay, so I have 1 of everything. Okay. And now we can see everyone has gone twice. So now the obelisk rotates. Boom. There it is. And that is our first rotation. I'm going to have to do this in segments. I don't have a ton of time right now to continue on. So the next time you see me, I expect the lighting especially, but the camera angle will probably be a little bit different, to change a bit. So I'll see you in a second, which will be hours away for me. All right, as promised, it is now 7 hours later, and I no longer have the sun, so here's my kitchen lighting. So anyways, I do know that I just turned the obelisk. So what do we do once that happens? Well, we're not scoring. It's not a bat face. It's just a regular jump all the way down to now we add more dice. And we are playing a two-player game. So that means we take two dice. And there are two more in there for the next time. Actually, sorry. There's two dice in here for this shadow. There's two more dice in here for this shadow. The next time that it rotates, we will do a matte phase when the dice on our boards will go back into the bag. So I'm going to roll this dice for this one and then the next two for that one. So we got two whites, a 5 and a 4, and white is forbidden. Okay, and the other two dice are, oh, more white, and yellow. Put that back there. Okay, so the other one is, both of these are forbidden. Okay, so our options have not opened up whatsoever. Okay, whatever. So now we continue another round. Sorry, now we don't continue another round. Now, because the obelisk has rotated, these dice are now potentially going to be different. So this once shaded area is now a sunny area. So now black and brown are forbidden and yellow is now tainted. And we just continue doing that. White is tainted here. This is the same because this is still shaded. It's shaded twice. This will be, it gets shaded twice. Okay, anyways. So we have white and yellow are forbidden. And black is now pure here. This once forbidden section now has the browns in the pure side, which is nice, and black in tainted. So that is now open for us to use. And this is white, so this should still be the same. Yeah. And this is what it is now. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, so player 2, orange, is now the next to go. Player 2's looking at their board here saying, we also don't want to be so out of balance that we're losing points, right? The game's about getting points. Also, we have this card. When we take a pure die, we can, what am I saying? We can get a victory point. So, okay, what I think I'm going to do is use this card. When performing a raw or Horus God action, do not pay the cost. I'm going to do it for a raw. So if I am doing this correctly, there's a whole lot of taint going on. So if I take a pure, I'm going to take the 6, and I will set that there on the pure. And, okay, so do not pay the cost. So we have our cost of 2 limestone and 1 granite. So don't pay that. So, oh, and I do like this one anyways because, hey, get a card. Except it's shaded. Except, oh, okay, I must be forgetting something. Anyways, so never mind about that. Oh, because it was going to be that. Drat. I don't want taint. Okay, so that's one of the things you have to do. You kind of have to work around. And sometimes things don't work out exactly perfectly. So I'm not going to pay limestone. I'm just going to put this in. And orange doesn't really have anything. But you do want a bunch of limestone or granite? You want granite. So let's do, I don't know, let's do that, I suppose, or this. Yeah, because if I build a house, one of these, I can get a faith token. So, and I could put this in the corner here so that green touches green. So I would get 2 points for green touching green in this corner. That's the bonus you get here. And then you would get 3 points because this is blue. I'm going to take the granite so I can make use of limestone and granite interchangeably. So I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to take 2 granite, which is over here. So we have 2 granite here. I'm not going to be able to use that, which is, you know what? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Getting points per building. There are no buildings in the column or row. Points per color. I am out in the middle of nowhere. Do I want to? Just, yeah, take 2. And then you get the victory points for that. So I got, oh, I should put that on. I got nothing, but I get 3 victory points for having done that. So this is the one-time use blessing. I'm just going to put it in, I'll say that's discard. Put them all the way down, but this was at the end already, so I'm just going to grab another one of these. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. So that's player 2's turn. Player 1 thinking about just building another building in, and that the thing with you only have 2, like we only have 2 bread when you count the gold as well. So when you put a 2, you're in the corners, so you're not going to be getting this extra resource. You would just get the 1 bread, 1 papyrus, or 1 faith, bread, papyrus, faith, granite, limestone. So that's all right. And then papyrus, faith, yeah. And I just saw that Orange did not get a victory point for having taken that 6, the pure die. So 1 more point. You know, and purple is kind of thinking maybe it is worth a 2, because if we put it here, that's 2. That's 3 faith tokens, which could help us out in the future. So if we're getting granite and limestone, and we build a pillar up here, then in the future that could help us. So perhaps let's do that. So let's spend the gold and bread, put a building here. So let's just set these in to there. Oh, what am I doing? I am taking this. That is what I am doing. Sorry about that. Die, taken, building is built for the cost of bread 2. Now we get 1 of each resource, or 1 of each. Faith is not a resource. So we have 1 faith, 1 granite, 1 limestone. Okay, so we're doing okay for limestone and granite. And there even is one where you would need to have and a faith. Oh, I got 3 faith. Ooh, I don't have to worry about faith so much. So I don't have to worry about. I still would. I would have to use that to do that. Maybe that would be worth it. And those are all shaded. Okay. Anyways, so points. So I grabbed the resources. There are no columns of mine in here, and I move the population of my people, purple, 1. Also just realized I did not take, for having a statue, the gold. So player gets a gold. Okay. Player 1 definitely a little bit concerned about their balance. So they're probably thinking might as well take a 3 taint. And out of what's available there, it looks like what they want to do is maybe build a building for the sake of balance. So they're going to spend this to take this die, change it to a 3, and therefore we'll build it in the 3 section. Because a scribe, what I just can change the die 1 or 2, so we decided to change it 2. So a 3 One is definitely looking to increase their happiness. They like the card game, so what they're going to do is increase 1, 2, 3, which is the maximum they can do, and take the papyrus. So that's why they're going to put it in with the papyrus. So they're going to take the papyrus and move up their papyrus and bread. They have now a building about to be built. Papyrus and bread. Okay. There. And I said papyrus and bread. So now they can produce more than 2. They can produce 3 before the remainder goes onto their tainted side of their scale. And player 1, who goes second, is thinking, well, they want to balance it out. So they want a pure die. The only ones there are for horse and raw. So what he's going to do is use his own scribe as well. So he's going to balance his own scale, change this to a 1. That is incorrect. He has faith tokens, so he's going to keep his scribe for when it's when there's a better use for it. So this 2 is going to stay a 2. So he's going to spend 3 limestone, counting the gold, and 1 granite. So that's just going to go back here, of course. That goes there, and those go there. This 2 is just going to go on there. He'll use a faith to balance it out. That's all fine. So, and because this is shaded and not dark, he's able to continue filling out that 3 row. This game loves its 3 rows, apparently. So anyways, so where is purple going to place their first pillar? Well, naturally at the not when they, oof, not necessarily the best choice. Because yeah, they're going to get points for it, but then they already have plenty of faith tokens right now. So that might be better off used placing a pillar in either here or here, unless there's something else, like perhaps they wish to build another building. They can get started off with having 2 breads. Or now this will likely be where it's built. They still want the points for at least one of the buildings. And orange was smart to build away from this intersection here because, well, I'm not going to be pressing up against them if I want to get these building points. Also, the orientation is away, so I wouldn't, even if it was moved 1 over, I still wouldn't get the bonus color on color point. I think what I want to do, so I think player 1 also wants to set themselves up that if they're focusing so much on here and they have a statue here, that they also might want to have a statue there so that they can get bonus points every time that action is done. So what that means is, yes, I'm going to go for the granite. And next time we build a statue, we need 3 granite, which we already have 1. So next turn, hopefully we get to go first. We will see about that. And it just might be so. Okay, anyways, so we do get the 2 granite. Let's 1, 2, oh, 2. Very nice, very nice. Happy with that. And of course, put this on. And because shaded area, shaded color, we also get to build in the 3 area. Isn't it lovely? And the only options, of course, are, do I want granite? Do I want limestone? Granite, limestone, granite, limestone. You use a lot of granite here. Will I be building more statues here? It's not impossible, but I also want to be doing that. I do not have the option for papyrus. I do not have the option for bread. So I must take, because sometimes it looks like you use limestone mostly plus a granite. Limestone plus a granite. limestone plus a granite, limestone plus a granite. Maybe we are better off. Okay, so our production is definitely going to increase. That's a fact. So that's not an issue. Limestone or granite, limestone or granite, limestone or granite, limestone or granite. Let's hope granite. Whew. Let's hope granite. Oh, I didn't even take a granite before coming back over here. Let's take a granite. And these both increase by 1. The nice thing about taking a 3. And the only thing is, because it's a regular build, our happiness must go down. Which, yes, I know, I was just thinking, yes, I for sure did not do that for there. Okay. Although I know I thought about it. No, I thought about it, but then didn't actually do it. Okay. Okay, so now we can see both players have 4 dice. So, because we have 2 more dice each, the obelisk rotates. But before we get to adding dice, we must do a mat phase. And we can see both players. Let's add this to player 1's. Now we can see both players have balanced their scales. They're both at 0. Their score, well, not their score, their total, you go 6 minus 6, 0. 6 minus, oh, they're even both at 6. 6 minus 6, 0. So, all these dice go back in the bag. This faith, actually, if there was any resources, they get put back on the scales, that is. Not on the side. This is ours to keep. Only on the tainted side of the scale. All faith resources go back, and that is all faith resources. So these served their purpose. They all reset, whether they were on the scale or not. There you go. Let's just be nice and do that. Now we can see we're at 0. Awesome. Any excess positive, there is no issue. Any excess negative, however, once you hit -3, you get -1 points. -6, -2, and -9, you get -3 points. And now we can see the person with the highest Ankh card is purple. So purple will be going first now. And now, so like I said, we keep these, not in play, but we keep these because they will be used every 4 rounds. So the person who is in first now can take something that they like. The debate for player 1 is, right now, I mean, if you got a second scribe, you could also do an Anubis action, to take any die and do any turn. But more likely, they'll want to have a wild resource. Or look at this. 1 happiness. That doesn't allow them to build in the Osiris area once the 1 is gone. So that is very tempting as well. Resources are good. Having the ability to even build in Osiris in the first place is also good. You know what? And that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with that because you can gain more resources than a wild one. And if you can get, if you can manipulate it so that you get, a 6, you can get a lot more there. So this is what player 1 is going to take, and therefore, boom. And player 2 could either take a faith token to help balance, or a scribe. Then they used up their scribe last turn. And a scribe is good because you can change your die in the first place. So we have this, which lets you rebalance your scales a little bit, or a scribe, which helps you not get off balance in the first place, or you have more freedom with the scribe. Not that resources are bad. Higher player order. No, okay. I'm just going to go with freedom. I'm going to go with freedom. So that's going to go there. We take a scribe. Scribe will go there. And because the obelisk turned, we now will do, 2 players. So We do 2 dice in this shadow. Brown and yellow. Yellow is forbidden. Brown is tainted. Black is pure. Okay, and 2 more. Roll. They are brown. So, okay. So that's that. And now we rearrange the dice so that they are in their proper, proper rows. Over here, black is pure. Brown is tainted. Over here, black is tainted. Over here, yellow is, this is correct. This is pure. These are tainted. Actually, so are these. Everything is tainted in Osiris right now. And this should be proper as is. Yeah, okay. Player 1 wants to get that statue built, and there's a 1 for Ra right there on the pure side. So, player 1, who now goes first, takes this pure die. That's just going to go purely there. And builds a statue. Oh, pays the 3 granite, sorry. Pays the 3 granite. 1, 2, 3. To build a statue for Ra. Well, that's nice that that worked out. Oh, I just realized I did not do this. So let's catch up to here. Okay, there it is. And this is dark, so that's a good one. Oh, there's even a pure and tainted die, a 5 and a 6 to build that for someone. Player 2 thinking maybe they would like to have that and start grabbing a few cards, but that's not going to work because we don't have 3 papyrus. I mean, we could have 1, 2, but that's still not 3. We can use the scribe. I don't know if that's really worth it. We have a 5 pure and a 5 not pure there, so perhaps that's a good way to balance it out. And if we build here, then we can get more papyrus, which lets us get more cards, which lets us get more points. So I think that's what we're going to do. So player 2 is going to, let's see, wanting to build papyrus means we'll take this 5 tainted. Of course, we'll put it on the tainted scale. Take a building. And we're going to need to lower our happiness, which is done now. And that's a 5. And we want papyrus. So let's do this. Let's take 2 papyrus. As a consequence, we're not doing any of this. And we're allowed to produce 2 more papyrus. Ooh, look at that. We're almost at 6. Will we reach it? Will it be worth it? I mean, right now, I don't know. Gold and a wild. So we have 3 papyrus, so we could take that die and take 3 cards. Oh, but only here because our happiness is down there. Because we could also take papyrus. No, those might be worth it. Oh, and I have to refill this, which was not done. You know what, player 1's thinking, I mean, what can I do? You look at the options and you need papyrus, or maybe you want a scribe, but you only have a 5 option. You're not even going to get a scribe if you try to do Bastet option. You need papyrus to get a bunch of cards. You need, yeah, because that's your only option with the 5 if you're not going to use your scribe. Maybe it's worth it, but then if you lower it by 2, you still need 2 papyrus, and I still don't have 2, so I can't do this whatsoever. So perhaps I produce resources. What do I want to do? Build pillars. Okay, so I have a granite, so I'm going to need limestone. I'm not taking that 5 because I can only hold 3, and 2 excess is maybe a little excessive. If I take this 4 on the tainted side, then I can have 3 limestone, which is nice. It can build anything over there, and 1 will be in excess. So I don't have to worry about beyond more than a single excess. So I'm going to do that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. 4. I am allowed to have 3. 1, 2, 3. And the other one goes to unbalance my scales to the tainted side. Player 2 is looking at these cards. If we build a pillar, we would want to have this card to produce resources to produce this so that we can use this for limestone to gain victory points. But right now our happiness track doesn't allow us to do that. And we would have to gain another 5 die just to do that. We could also use our scribe now to lower it. We do have the 2 papyrus. Just thinking, to 2 papyrus. But then we can't do this action because we need 3 papyrus. We don't have a scribe but if we get a scribe, that takes us to 3, that takes us to 2. Okay, I do this action because I want my guy up and my happiness up. So, take this one. But lower it by 2. So this goes to 3. 3 tainted. The scribe is used. It just goes back. So now that we have, and pay 2 to papyrus. If you can't pay 2 to papyrus, you can't even take the die in the first place. And because it's a 3, my happiness now goes up by 1, 2, 3. I'm now in the red. That is excellent. And because it's a 3, I also gain a scribe. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I almost could have just held it in my hand, but I didn't. 2, 3. Is this 6, right? Was there Let's just continue on. And now we see 2 dice, 2 dice. We have a rotation. Boom, rotation. Hope you didn't have many plans, so I'll do this black, this dark and that dark. So grays are now tainted. And I think grays are always tainted. Yeah, if you have a gray, it's automatically tainted. Yeah. Oh, they're all grays. Grays are automatically tainted. Okay, now we adjust our dice. This is now, that is correct. That is correct. This is correct. Pure. Wow. Pure, 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 pure. This is tainted. This stays as is. This is pure. And that's where I started. Now player 1, very happy, raw is in the dark, and there's a 6. Doesn't it work out? And that doesn't even mess up the scales all that much. We're going for it. 1, 2, 1. Oh, take the die, please, and place it on the pure side. So we got 1, 2, 1. Hooah! Do this. I just realized purple didn't get a point for taking that. So we're continuing on. So we will also be able to do a Thoth action as though we had a 1. So that just means take a card, and we're purple, so we can only take from these ones. And that's okay. So where are we placing this? You know what? Let's not worry about, let's take a bunch of faith. Perhaps our faith will be rewarded. Okay. Now, when you get a point per, oh, this is the one. So we get 1, 2. Purple gets 1, 2. Also get per color. So this is a green and a beigey color. So I could have put it down here to get, but no, I want this point and this point, or I could get this point. No, I want the faith. So I get no points for colors, and now I get 3 points for that being, where I took it from. So slide down, which is already done, and oh, get an even anotherer point if you were to build in the dark before it rotates. And I did not even take the Thoth action yet. So 1 just means take a card. Dark 8, everything's working out nice. So when producing resources, gain 4 limestone. Nice. When taking a die, set it to any value. Any value. Ooh, any value, really? When you raise a pillar, always activate the ability. Oh, and it's a technology. This stays in your hand permanently. Then you wouldn't have to. Oh, and I'm building pillars hard this game, so I want this. Player 1 is not wanting to have to worry about. Oh, because this. Sorry, I am messing this up. Linking. Okay. Oh, I'm messing things up. Okay. Anyways, point is, I'm excited about that. That's a fantastic card for one who is building pillars all the time. Player 2 indeed feels like committing themselves to taking this, putting it on the pure, or rotating it. It goes on the pure side, so that's a 3, and they have the scribe to have done that. They have a 3. 3 means, oh, I didn't take this before I left. Take the 2, take a papyrus, take a gold. Now take 2 cards. So they must be from the same section. So I can take 2 cards from the red section or 2 cards from the beige section. And I think what player 2 is going to do is do the ongoing. Producing resources is nice, but it is a one-time thing. Perhaps we can get more out of when you perform a god action, you may adjust the die value by up to 2. Just anytime. Not produce resources, do a god action. And when you take a tainted die to perform a god action, you may spend 1 scribe to also produce. So you can take a tainted die, do it, and spend a scribe to produce using that die, of course. Man. And the produce action is done before the god action, which is just awesome. So I'm just gonna, man. And I didn't take a victory point when I gained this pure die. So orange gains 1. Player 2 is just making themselves powerful. And I think for the long term, it might be better if player 1 did an Osiris action. So we have the 2 extremes. We have a 1 and a 6. We have 1, 2, 3 faith tokens. If we take the 1, our scales can be perfectly balanced without issue. If we took the 6, this would be 11, and we could use these on this side to 10, which makes us a -1. But it might be worth it if we're getting nice resources plus increasing our production track. And with a scoring just about to happen, that's very worth it because we're going to need 2 breads. So this means I am indeed going to take this, place it on our scale here. So we have a 6. We're going to take this building. We'll need 3 breads. Oh no. but we're only going to get 2. 2 breads. Increase bread production by 2, and one of anything, including bread, anything up 1. So bread goes up by 1, 2. And if I increase bread, then I can, and bread helps build buildings. So if I increase bread, I would get 2 points just for doing that. But then I'm not getting pillars, I'm not getting 2 points now, or a bit of an investment for later. I do kind of feel like being greedy and taking points for our scoring phase. Okay. Player 2. I just realized I didn't do this either. Oh, nor did I refill these. So let's get all this done before player 2 actually goes. All right, player 2 is kind of thinking, let's just try to balance things out. I could produce lots of granite, which would give me a 5, but then I can only produce 2 granite, so a 5 here is 8, and 3 excess granite here makes this 8, 11. So that's -3, which makes me lose a point altogether. So instead of going for a 5, I can go for a 4 brown, or this 4 brown. I could go for a 1, but I'm trying to balance here. So I can do bread production. I can do 3 bread production, which puts pure side to 7, and the unpure side to 2, which is at least is better. And bread, not bad. I can do something with bread. So let's go ahead. Let's take one of them. I'll just take this one, I guess. Put this back. Okay. So this is going to go here, and I'm doing production. So the purpose of this pure is to do bread. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 bread. And we are allowed to keep 3 of them. 2, 3. And 1 must go here to unbalance the scales. With no scribes, what can you do? And 2, 2, 2, 2. So we are at another mat phase, but what's this? The first scoring icon, which means it has rotated, which means we will do a mat phase, which means we will also do our halfway through the game scoring. All right, the first thing we do, the obelisk rotates. The next thing we do, determine our balance. So we have 7 here and 6, 10, 11 here. So we got 1, 2, 3 on this side. So now we have 10 here and 11 here. This counts as 1. So that's -1, -1. Purple is at -1. Okay, so they're not losing points, but they're not perfectly balanced. So I guess we might as well just put these back in. These are lost, and I will do this all together. So no faith, we can't rebalance anything. So we have 7 here, we have 8, 9 here. So orange is at -2. Well, who's going first is super easy to determine. There is no tie. Purple will be going first. That just is what it is. But because -2 is the lowest anyone went, no one's losing points. So good for everybody there. Got these. We'll put these back. 1, 2, and bread. So now, before we deal with the Ankh cards, we move on to the scoring part. And scoring is okay, so let's start with scoring. So let's score Osiris. I'm just going in the order that it is in the instruction book. So for Osiris, score 3 points for whoever has the majority of this section. Orange just gets 3 points. They just do 3 because they have 2. They have majority. Whoever has majority here, 3 points. Purple gets 1, 2, 3, and no one is in here whatsoever. And purple is in this, so they get 1, 2, 3. and no one there, they have majority, they just do. Now, each player who has, for scoring, a point per building and statue for each player. So purple has 1, 2, and that's it. Orange gets nothing. So 1, 2, and for scoring, a point per player's column for the building, per building and statue in the row or column belonging to that player. That is to say, purple is going to score for purple buildings, orange is going to score for orange buildings. That's it. Purple is the only one that has buildings, so orange is going to score nothing for buildings. Purple is going to score 1, 2 for this pillar and going to score 1 for this pillar. Now each player scores 3 points per triangle they reached. Both players have not even reached one triangle, so no one's getting points, but they would get 3 points if their happiness marker was here, 6 points if here, 9, 12, 15. So for their statues, they get, for scoring, they get whatever the rightmost score is. So they get 3 points. And I just verified that is correct. So they get 1, 2, 3 points, and orange gets 0 points. And we look continuing up. During scoring, 2 points per marker in this highlighted row. Purple indeed has one in this row, so purple gets 1, 2 points. Orange is almost there, but not quite yet, so they get no points for that. And if the players had built enough buildings that victory points would be showing, they would get that amount of victory points, or the rightmost victory points. That is not the case. Neither player has built enough buildings yet. Sorry, the book says the sum of victory points, so 2, 5, 10. And now we come to pay. So player 1 must pay 1, 2, 3 breads. They can only pay 2 breads, so they must lose 1, 2, 3 points. And they can choose to not pay the breads to lose points. They're okay. Let's not lose a bunch of points, especially not while we're ahead. And orange, however, says, yeah, I will pay my 1 bread. I am good with that. All right, so now the destiny cards are replaced on the table. And what will our players choose? Everyone thinking they can produce resources to continue building pillars and buildings even. So maybe what they want to do is to have more scribes, and a second one to have the option of potentially getting an Anubis one if there's something they especially want. That will very much help them. Okay, so they are gonna go with having a scribe. So let's player 1 has 2 scribes now. So player 2, I do think is going. Do you want to increase your population or your happiness? Let's increase our happiness right now. It might work out later that we can increase our population. No, let's do our population. Let's do our population because we can increase it more happiness. Maybe we worry about this. We can't deal with this right now, literally. So let's maybe worry about this right now. I forgot to add dice. That's fine. But dice still won't be added here. So yes, what I was saying still holds true. Okay, so population increases, right? Because we have higher options. Yeah, higher options for happiness. Yes. Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, so let us, I'll do this dark and then this dark. 6 and 5. Okay, so, and the other one, of course. Oh. Okay, so this will be here now, this will be here now, this will be here now, this will be here now. Okay. Correct. Nothing. Taint is correct. Oh, this is pure now, and the yellow is tainted now. And where are we at? Tainted and pure. These are, brown is pure for raw. And I think I just organized these. That's correct. And that's where I started. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up here for this session of me playing Tekhenu. I'll be back tomorrow to continue on. It'll be the next second for you. So see you then. All right, as promised, it is now the next day. And as a reminder, we have our decree cards, which we didn't just pick out just now because we picked these out at the beginning of the game. So, reminder that player 2 is trying to get a victory point per step, between their happiness and the lowest position happiness marker. So, was player 2 is orange, and the lowest one is 1. So right now they would get like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm right. 8 points. So maybe they want to keep increasing their population. And player 1, of course, building the pillars and buildings, get 2 and 2. So for the second half of the game, with player 2, knowing that they're going for cards, they're really, really hoping they can get their population marker into the green so that they can start getting decrees. So that means, so 1, 2, 3. So they need 3 to increase their happiness, which means they would need papyrus to do so. And to get papyrus, they would probably need to build something over there. But that's not going to happen. So maybe they want to, produce resources or something. But anyways, it's player 1's turn. So we'll let player 2 figure out what 2's doing. Let's have 1 go first. Oh, I just realized these were a little messed up. So I'll just organize that a little bit. So player 1 thinking, let's maybe get resources, right? And we can do that a couple of ways. So we probably want to take a die, maybe one of these ones, because we're able to go up to 6, so we might as well take the 5. Then we're well set up, or we can get a nice ideal spot and go with that. So maybe that's what we're going to do, because building the buildings gets us more resources. So yeah, maybe let's just do that. Let's produce bread. Player 1 is going to produce as much bread as they can. Hopefully that is not the wrong choice. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breads. Okay. So we can, when we build a building, we can have our choice of spots, because the highest amount of bread we would need is 4. So that is good. So player 2. Just reminding myself that we have if you take a tainted die, do an action. If you take a pure die, do an action. So regardless of what we're going to do, we're going to be able to do something. And we are able to adjust. We are able to adjust. Seriously? Okay. Player 2 forgot. When you're able to adjust a die anytime you take one. To do that, we build a pillar, but to do that, we need more limestone granite. So maybe we take that tainted die and put it on the granite so we get more granite so that we can next turn build the pillar, because there is one there. Yeah, there is one there that requires only 3, and doing that would get me 3, and that would be tainted. That would also be tainted, but that's only 2 each. So okay, so be it. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to get my population up. But I also want, and I don't, when you perform a god action, you may adjust the die value by up to 2. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And this is technology, which means I get to just do that willy-nilly. So take the die, and I'm going to adjust it by 1. Put that on the tainted side. Take this and go on the second row. The reason I did that is because the first, actually, do I want limestone maybe? No, I do want this. And I'm higher here, so I break the tie at least. So if I put it here, the first player to build in the second row gets this gold. Everyone else does not, the first player does. So I, as orange, gets to. So my granite production increases by 1, and I get to have another granite. So that's going to go there, and I have the gold, so my options are now a little bit more open. I think player 1 is thinking, we want to get more resources. We also want to build buildings. All that is fine. So if we take a pure die and use only 3 breads, maybe we can get a granite and a limestone on the same turn, because I don't think you can do that anywhere else now. That is correct. So I would have to build here to get a granite and a limestone, because I already have a building here where I could do that, and everywhere. Oh, I could put that there. And I would get the gold for that. Oh, that's even better. Okay. So I just have to remember that I do the Hathor action, and I get a gold for that. Look at me actually remembering. Okay. I'm just going to hold on this for now. So I do the Hathor action. That goes on pure. Take a building. Spend. What do I want to spend? The middle? Actually, if I do here, oh, no, to get the granite and I need to build here, so be it. 1, 2, 3, 4 breads spent. There are no pillars there, so I don't get any points, but I do get the resources like established. 1, 2, a gold, and a limestone and a granite. Okay. Granite, limestone, papyrus, gold, which is wild. Another gold for having done the Hathor action while I have a statue there. And another bread, so I could even, okay. And then I build a pillar somewhere, so that's great. And I took a 5, so I can increase my population by 5. My happiness is suffering, but I do have the 2 papyrus required to do a papyrus action. So I'm feeling okay. I do want to build a pillar, and it would be nice to increase my happiness, especially not have it go down by 1. Okay. Which I'm pretty sure Orange did not do last turn, so let's catch that up. Layer 2, thinking they want to use limestone interchangeably with granite, because, hey, you have the power, let's use it. Let's just use it. So what are we going to take? So we are in shaded here, so these 2 are both good in terms of getting the extra ability as well. And look, build a statue for a Ra, Hathor, or Bastet. And that flows really well with me trying to get my happiness up there. So I do think I want to take this one. So I'm going to take this 1, put it there, and of course take. This is the one I'm going to take. Now, use limestone and granite interchangeably. If you do, once per turn, gain 1 victory point. Okay, so even though I'm going to use 2 granites, it says 1 victory point per turn. So I'm going to gain an extra victory point. Oh, well. So I have 3 granites, and I need 2 limestone and a granite. So I get 1 extra victory point for that. Cool. Granite goes there. Now, What do I want to do? I'm already thinking I probably want to get faith tokens, right? So I don't have to worry about losing points because I'm not exactly ahead over here. It would be nice to also get building points, but if I'm wanting faith, the only spots where faith is uncovered is where buildings are not. So I would not get a point for that. So perhaps I more concern myself with color, right? Maybe set myself up for better colors later, like better color options. See if I did that. Okay, if I did that, I get 3 faith tokens. And that allows me, if I want to take a 6 pure or really low tainted, and I don't get too much taint. 2, 3. Okay. Now I put a pillar. Boom. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do this. Just rotate a little bit so I touch green to green so that I get that point. And I get 1 point for having taken this tile specifically. And we go down, down, and refill with just a neutral 3 limestone, and you get no special power. Okay, so speaking of special power, I cannot do it because I would still need to pay the 4 granite to be able to do it. So although it says you can do the action, you would need to pay the granite cost. So although I was thinking, oh, I'll do that. No, you need to have the granite. Oh, well, let's continue on. So we have 2 dice, 2 dice. So we do a rotation. Okay. So I'll do this black and then this black, dark, and go what? This one I said is going to be tainted and pure. And the other one, let's see, forbidden. Okay. And now we adjust the dice. So this should actually still be the same. It is. These are now forbidden. Let's see. Tainted, tainted, tainted. White is tainted. Okay. And pure. Oh, and that's where I started. Okay. And they don't exactly have. Ooh. Oh man. I was gonna say they don't exactly have options, but then there's a big die there, and then I'm thinking, oh yay, you can do an Anubis action, but no, an Anubis action doesn't count towards. You put it underneath. So if I took a big action on, actually, if I took a big action on pure, I'm not going to lose points. I'm definitely not going to go first next time, but I won't lose points for having been way out of balance because it would be pure out of balance rather than tainted out of balance. Alternatively, I could build another statue, right? I could take 1 granite, 1 gold, because you only need 2 to build the next one, and build. Okay, so that's also an option if I'm keeping my numbers low. If I'm not grabbing one of these, I could grab that pure die, and to keep the balance, I could take this pure die, right? Which of course is indeed an option. Not that I know what player 2 is going to do, but if they want to keep the balance, okay, whatever, we'll see. So I could pay, okay, okay, if I do that, okay, so I pay 2 granite, build a statue, everything, okay. Here would be an awful idea because there's no dice to even choose from in the first place to do a god action. Here would be a great place because there's lots of dice and player 2 seems to be over here anyways. So maybe I could do that. If I did do that, the next thing I think I would want to do is do a bread action, which I have 2 breads and another gold. 2 breads and another gold. Okay. So the 3s and 4s are still open to me then. Or 2s and 3s, rather, 2s and 3s. If I did not do a build a pillar, maybe I want to do a build a pillar. But if I build a statue to Bastet, I can get a limestone or a granite every time someone takes one of these dice. And that helps me build pillars. But we're past halfway through already. You know what? I get 6 points next time if I build another statue and don't build another one. If I build 2 statues, I get 10 points. But let's say I build another statue. Let's say I do take this one. Let's say I take this one, I build another statue. This is pure, put it on the pure side. Now I have to pay 2 granite, which in this case is the gold and granite. Gold and granite. Okay. Take the pillar. Oh, that was a 1. Oh, shoot. I can't. I have to build it to raw. Shoot, you can't shoot. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. A 1 means you build it to 1. Is it worth it to take a 6 tainted? Okay, if I take a 6 tainted, there is a 6 pure here. And that builds right into that, right? And I have the papyrus to do so. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Change of plans, which are actually the same plans. So this is tainted. I'm still paying 1 granite, 1 gold for wild, because we need 2. That's 6 is going to Thoth. It's actually going to Thoth, not Bastet. Thoth, okay? Because it's a 6 die. With an alternate setup, it could be something not. I'm just using what's printed on the board. Okay. So be it. So be it. That's what I'm going to go with. Let's help myself maybe in the future because dice are going here. Anyways, next round. And we still have some more rounds. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And then maybe I still take, this. I have the papyrus. Okay, that's all fine. Why is this on his side? And didn't I move this down 1? I think it's 5. Okay, we just got to keep moving on. Player 2 feeling the pressure of the limited dice to choose from in the first place. Maybe what they want to do is produce a single papyrus. Then they can use the gold to happiness of the people. This is on the tainted side before I forget. And then they can take that. So if we produce 1 papyrus, that's well within what we're able to produce. And player 1 thinking, might as well perfectly balance my scales. Pay 2 papyrus. Okay, pay 2 papyrus. And that was a 6 to increase the happiness of my people by up to 6. And in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're way ahead. So that ain't nothing. So a 6 is going to get us no scribes. This is just going to be paid there. Player 2 figuring the same thing. Literally the same thing. Might as well take this pure die. When you take a pure die, gain a victory point. Boom. Okay, so that's nice. Pay the 2 papyrus and increase happiness by 5 in this case. Except 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 can only go up to that amount anyways. So there we have that. Oops, this gold goes into the gold. And because it was a 5, we get no scribes. And now we come to, boom. Sorry, it's just a little loose. Okay, anyways. So we've come to the turning of the obelisk. But because we have 4 dice, we now do a mat phase. Now player 2 has an imbalance, but faith tokens. So we can put the faith token there. And now we have a 5 and 5, and we have 11 and 11. So both players are perfectly balanced somehow. So because they're tied, whoever is the highest value, in this case player 2 is the one who's going to be going first. Haha, it actually worked out this time that the Ankh was indeed used. And now we can put these back in. And all faith tokens are gone. Those will just go right there, of course. And now player 2 gets to choose which. Well, player 2 is glad at least some dice are going to be coming out here so that they can start maybe choosing some destiny cards. And in order to do that, they really want the population to have gone up to... They're at green. Ooh, let's keep it that way. Ooh. Okay. So in this case, they're going to go for population, of course, is going up 1. And hopefully their happiness doesn't go down. Keep an eye on that. Be careful about Osiris. She can be dangerous for you. And player 1, who will be going second. Let's take resources. Faith can be good. Scribes can be good. But let's take resources. Let's see if we can get more pillars and buildings built before one final scoring. And now I'll do this section of dark. This one's pure, this one is forbidden, and 2 more. Now we have a black who is pure, nice, and a tainted. Okay, so nice. So Osiris can be built into, haha. Okay, so this is pure, this is tainted. Where are we? Forbidden is correct. Oh, this is correct because of the rotation. Okay, now this is pure, tainted, and forbidden. Now we have pure, tainted, pure. Okay, cool. And I think I just did this. So yeah, and that's where I started. And okay. Oh, why has this popped out? Let's put that back. Oh, I just realized we're in green, but I haven't yet filled this cards. Okay, so a technology and a technology and a decree. Finally. Player 2, please let it be a decree I can get per statue built for the people. Well, neither player have built any statues to the people. And I'm going to need resources if I'm going to do that. On a card, I need papyrus. If I need papyrus, I need to... Man. What... I don't want to build to Osiris, so I can do a papyrus resource action, maybe. And have my population go up. I'm going to need bread as well. Which I have too. To do that, to build that, to have the population go up. That's a lot of pure, though. Okay, so if I take this, I can do 2 and I can do 2. So I am going to take this, and this is from the pure, so put it on the pure side. Every time you take a pure die, gain a point. And I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I have 4 papyrus, which is going to help me out in the future. Okay. And looking at the resources I have, I could build that neutral 3 and maybe put a bread in a 3 spot. A 3 spot is going to be able to give me a few extra resources of something. And in doing this case, that's a 5 and that's a 6, and that's close to balanced. And if I put it here, okay, so maybe what's better, getting the resources? No, building the pillar, because you can get 3 points per pillar when you build a building. So if I build one just in the way, ooh. That's be a 3. 4, no, okay. So maybe I build a pillar. Maybe I take this 5, put it on my tainted, spend the 2 limestone and a gold for this. I'm not going to get a bonus one because it's a neutral, and that's going to be gold and 2 limestone. 3. Because I could build a 3 and put on papyrus or gold. Or I said gold, limestone. And I could build a 3 building and get the points for it. Maybe I just grab the limestone. I hope that's, yeah. So I'm gonna get the 2 limestone. Okay, so 2 limestone. Layer 2. Put a pillar up. Now, score a point per building. There is 1 building here, so we do get 1 point for that. This tile is not touching any color, so nothing for that. And we get the 1, 2, 3 points because that's where we took the pillar from. So next pillar, oh, it's another neutral one. Player 1's thinking about the check. Yes, they want cards, but they want end scoring is what they're thinking now. So they want population to go up. They want happiness to go up. They also want purple's happiness to stay there or even go down so that they can get the extra points there. And to get population to go up, they need to build a building. And they do have the bread to do so as long as they build it in one of these 2 spots, because they only have 2 without a wild. So what they're going to do is take 6 pure, and we already have pure. So we could take 2 tainted. Oh man, we're dealing with pures and tainted here. Okay, so whoops, this is a 2, this is a 2. Tainted, that goes there. Pay the 2 bread to put a building. Let's see. Faith. We get extra papyrus. No, yeah, we get an extra papyrus that way, or add that way. So let's put it there. We'll get the papyrus, bread, and a faith. Okay, that'll help us out. Papyrus, bread, and faith. Okay, faith is good. And lots of papyrus. Very happy with that. So 3 points per pillar. Nope. I built it up 1 more, but I was not able to. Oh, I was able to do that. Am I willing to give up a faith to get 3 more points? Because it's the same thing, just without the. If I let go of a faith, I get 3 points. One, 2, 3. And the happiness of the people will go up by 2. Okay. So you're 1 away, but player 1's kind of reconsidering because we can build. Oh, we can't build. Oh, but we have an Anubis action. We can build. Because I could put another pillar like right there. Get the bread and build. What do we got? Forbidden. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use Anubis. Okay. I'm going to use Anubis. Two scribes is Anubis. I'm going to take this forbidden die, and although I can use it anywhere, I'm still going to use it for here. So I am still going to take the 5 because it's a 5. I didn't use another scribe to change it, so I still have to take this one. The Anubis die does not go on the scales, it goes under. Now, I want to put this in such a way that when I build a building, I get 3 points per tile. And if I have 3, oh, and building to raw, I forgot about, I can increase my population because I have a statue. So yes, I have been forgetting, I have a statue to raw. So what would I do? And I just built a statue. That's what this was, right? That neutral one. I think I would have populationed that, and then I would faith this one. Do you still get the statue bonus if you do with Anubis, but that's what you're still doing? I'm going to go with yes. Okay, so these go like that. This, I'm now going to take the faith tokens. 1, 2, 3. There. I'm going to build another. Okay. I did it for 2. Bread. Okay, yeah, if I build it there, then I get the bread from there. So getting the bread from there is 2 bread. So now I can build a more expensive spot and maybe put it up there. Okay, so that's built now. Now you get a point per building. There's only 1 building that way. Colors matching. Oh, and I can adjust this so that I have 1 color matching. This beige to this beige. So that's 1 color matching. And 3 points, 1, 2, 3, for having built a pillar from that section specifically. Ooh, all right. Because they're already moved down. Okay. And now we can see 2 dice and 2 dice. So that means we rotate. We take a couple dice out. And I start there, so gray, gray. And the last time we have, this will actually be forbidden, and this will be pure. Okay, so this should be all fine. Yeah, so these are now forbidden. Actually, this is forbidden too. This is pure. Okay, this is pure now. This, pure, tainted, oh, that's correct. This is forbidden, tainted, and we have tainted, 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 pure. All right, and now let's have player 2 take their penultimate turn. Why is this turned? Okay, but population. We are not able to build population because we want this. We want this. Ah, moved. We only have a single bread. I didn't mean to go out of my way to do that, but that is what ended up happening. Okay, so player 2 gets 2 turns left, and they... When you perform a raw, gain 2 points. When producing resources for every excess resource produced. So, our best shot is to do a limestone. Oh, we could also... Oh, limestone because 2. For every excess. So we do want a card. No fate tokens. Okay. That would only give us 6. Wait. 6, 2. 2 is okay. So let's take cards. Or a card at least. And then produce resources, I guess, as a last-ditch effort for getting as many points as we can. So we're going to put this on the pure side, gain a card. This will be the card we get. Oh, and get a point for having taken a pure die. And then we want it to still be 2. And just refill. Player 1, looking to maximize points, is going to give 3 bread to take this die, place it on the pure, and place a building. Like I said, it was 3. Okay, so I'll just put the bread out of my hand. And, okay, so we gain those resources. We gain a granite and a papyrus. A granite and a papyrus. Now, we get 3 points per pillar. That is ours in the row or whatever. So we get 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So that's lovely. Now we can increase our population by that much. And that much only goes to 21. So good job. Too bad you can't get your happiness up there. You know what? I've been sitting here for a while thinking what to do. I think player 1's just going to give themselves a couple points here. So what they're going to do is take this 4 tainted die. It's tainted. Take a building. Oh, shoot, I forgot about bread. So be it. And they're going to, let's see. They need to increase the papyrus production by 1 so that they can get the 2 points at the end of the game. If they're only concerned about papyrus increasing by 1, then you might as well take the gold and bread, which allows them to pay the 3 breads that they will need to pay for scoring. So that's good. And papyrus increases by 1. Oh, as well as bread, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, and of course that goes down by 1. And you know what? I think player 1 is going to go ahead, take this die. It's tainted, put it on this side. This makes this 11, and if you put the 3 face on this side, that's 9. So they're not going to lose points for having done that. So that 6 means they're able to take a building, not feed their people. Well, let's find out what happens. Places that at, let's see, well, any of them will do. Because what's going to happen is they're going to, oh, bread's already taken. And that's just too bad. Wow. Player 1's going to need 6 bread to feed, and they only have a single one. That might be an unwise choice. So scrap that, and they're going to produce bread. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pure, that's 10. That'll be 8. That's also 2. Okay, so that works out just fine. So now they only need 4 breads. Because each bread you don't pay for, you lose 3 victory points. So if you have 5, you're losing 15 points. Do you really want to lose 15 points? No. Okay, and here we come to, boom, final scoring. And no one else got any more decree cards. Different games go different ways. All right, so that's just how this game went. Okay, so this does not count for balance. So we have, like I say, 10 here and 8 here. So purple goes to -2, so they do not have to lose points. Player 1 is perfectly balanced, so they are perfectly balanced. So just in case there's a tie, you go there and you go there. Okay, so again, according to the rulebook, we're just going to say orange has majority here, so orange gets 1, 2, 3. Purple has majority here, so purple gets 1, 2, 3. No one still is in there. Now this is a tie, and orange is higher up, so orange gets the 1, 2, 3 points for that. So each building and statue gets a point for that player. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and orange gets 1. And each pillar is worth the amount of buildings in the row and column for that player specifically. So orange has nothing here, so nothing. And orange has only 1, so they get 1 point. Purple, however, gets 1 point for this pillar. 1, 2 points for this pillar. 1, 2 points for this pillar. And 1, 2 points for this pillar. Now, how many statues we built? We built 3, so purple gets 6 points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Orange gets nothing. Now, they're happy. Oh, if orange didn't go down that 1, they would have the 3 points for having triangle. Oh, well. Now, purple gets 2 points for having 1, thing on this track. 1, 2. And orange gets 2 points for also having 1, 2. Now, purple has also built enough buildings to get 2 points. Orange has not built enough to get any points. Now we pay the 1, 2, 3, 4 breads. And orange must pay 1, 2, 3 breads, so nobody loses points. So now each player can score up to 3 decrees. Each player only has 1 decree in this game. So player 1, purple's decree was you get 2 points, 2 victory points per pillar within the temple complex, and 2 victory points per building around the temple complex. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Awesome. And player 2 gets 1 victory point per step between your happiness and lowest positioned, happiness marker. So orange is here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the difference here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, at the end of the game, whoever is first gets 3 points. That's why we put it back on here. So 1, 2, 3, and it's a 2-player game. If it was a 3 or more player game, the person in second would get 2 points. But this is a 2-player game. The other player gets nothing. And that's the game. So naturally, there will have been mistakes and stuff. I'm sure plenty of people will have caught it. Those mistakes, that is to say. But how do I say? Purple wins. Yay, good job. That's not to say the tactic one player uses over the other is necessarily better, but that's just how it ended up coming out of me for this run through. So thank you very much as I do this run through of Tekhenu Obelisk of the Sun. Have fun.